Thanks for tuning in to another episode of American Circus. The first episode of Season 2 was about life, so I thought it'd be appropriate to make the second episode about death. Some of these topics may be a bit triggering, but let's get into it.
The more I'm like, man, maybe he to the point now, like, I don't care about pleasing nobody.
Well,
I'm going to tell it how it is.
Well, when I was 21 years old, I was diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. And while everybody else was about to graduate from college and go off into live life, I'm looking at my own mortality. So I've always, even though that has one of the highest cure rates, I've always known that we're all on borrowed time. We're all on borrowed time. So I'm like, through hook or crook, I want to be the best at what I do to try to get the most out of this life that we have, because it's not promised to us. So it's not to do it to make you rich or whatever. It's really because I want to have a life that was being worth lived.
What does it mean to live life well? I think that question is just as old as what is the purpose of life. But as we grow older, we experience death in some way. Maybe it's the loss of your dog, cat. Maybe it's something like losing your friend or your brother. Maybe you lost a parent or even a child. Death usually seems to invoke anger, but we have to be careful not to let that anger control us and cloud our mind.
Anger hardens your mind to where you don't notice the subtle, quiet beauty of the world. The quiet love that's always there, that permeates everything. Sometimes you can become deeply cynical about the world if it's the Nietzsche thing.
Yeah.
Battle not with monsters, lest ye become a monster.
Yeah.
And if you gaze into the abyss gazes also into you.
Right. But I would say, bring it on. Right? Because that's why I also say, knowing that he's absolutely right, but if you gaze into the abyss long enough, you see the light, not the darkness.
Are you sure about that?
I'm betting my life on it.
Yeah, that's a heck of a bet. You might die today.
The angel of death sits on every word. How's that?
How often do you actually consciously
All the time.
Notice the angel?
All the time. I think it's one of the things that made me peculiar. When I was in graduate school, I thought about, I had the thought of death in my mind all the time. And I noticed that many of the people that I was with, these were people I admired fine. That wasn't part of their character, but it was definitely part of mine. I'd wake up every morning. This happened for years. Think, time's short, get at it. Time's short, get at it.
All of us only have 24 hours in a day, and we never know when our time will come to an end. So why not spend those hours wisely?
There are 4 important decisions we make in our life. How do I feel about myself? What do I do for money? Who do I give my love to? And how do I serve others? And if you spend your life focusing on intentionally making those choices, then your life is a success. Because all you can do is try to live intentionally and try to hope that it helps other people.
I think many people in the world are just chasing the next obstacle, chasing the next goal, the next high, whatever it may be. I think if we actually took time to question why we do the things we do, we might find more fulfillment in life.
Every single good thing that happens in our lives, everything, comes at a cost. There's nothing for free. Somebody with an incredible career has no relationship with their kids, right? Everything comes at a cost. But at the same time, everything we struggle with has opportunity and lesson that goes with it. It's always balanced, right? And so whenever anybody tells me this great thing, I'm always like, yeah, but at what cost? And was the cost worth it? Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no.
Everything in life has a cost, and I imagine that there's a cost for having a good death as well. Perhaps that cost is the relationships we have and the things we do for others while we're alive. But honestly, I don't know. What do you think?